Hello gamers and welcome to another Aquatico DevBlog video, and today we are going to talk about food diversity. What is it? Well, it's this bar, food bar. As you can see, there are three tiers of food, and inside those tiers there is different kind of food. So what is important here for you to understand is that Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 are, let's say, your progression as your town goes bigger and as your population increases and as your population demands more and more. Your food tiers are actually going higher and higher. But inside those tiers, there is a variety of foods which you need to be having. As you can see, for my population right now, there is 24 plus 17 children, 24 adults and 17 children. I need to have in Tier 1 food, I need to have 3 variety needed, and it's satisfactory from them. I have more. I have mussels, small fish, sharks, sea cucumbers, tuna, scallops, seaweed, and sea snails, which is a hell of a lot more than 3. But if you had less, it will be a problem, like it is a problem on food tier 2. Why it is a problem with food tier 2? Because I had oysters. As you can see, there is quantity, monthly produced and monthly used. Quantity is 0 for oysters. Monthly produced on food tier 2, you can see oysters on the left. Monthly produced is 0 and monthly used is 15. People actually went through my oysters like they are potato chips, and right now I'm having a lack of oysters, which is the reason. Let's now get closer to how you actually control those foods, right? That food tiers and food demands. I had one oyster field, and it's 13 days until the harvest, which means that this actually a problem that is insufficient and variety needed 1 right now. It's not that big of a problem, but because in 2 weeks, which is quite fast, we're going to have oysters, and we're going to have a lot of oysters. But still, I know that people are going through it, and my population is going to get bigger and bigger, so we need to build more fields, right? So there is one more field here of oysters, and here is the second field. What you need to pay attention to right here is actually that when you are not paying attention at the food bar, and you're not paying attention of how fast are your population eating through some oysters, squids, mushrooms, sea cucumbers, whatever. Fields which we have here have quite a long time to actually give you the produce that you actually are wanting to have. So you see, days until the harvest, 196. Here it's 256 days. Trust me, that would be a problem if I didn't have 13 days until the harvest here. If every field here was 150 to 200 days away from harvest, this then happens. This is the happiness bar. You have, of course, if you saw already a couple of our Aquatico DevBlog videos, especially on population, I kind of explained it in a short here. I'm going to do it also here. This is the food bar underneath. You see happiness, oxygen, food, warmth, and so on and so forth. Food actually went from 99 to 72 in a matter of 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, that's 14 days. And this takes 200 days. 96 and 256. So if this wasn't so fast here in 13 days, I would be in problems, because of me lacking oysters, I would probably need to use Tradeport to trade for oysters if I had credits for it. And I probably at that point needed to be really quick, as fast as possible. You would need to handle that, because once people are starting to lose that happiness and starting to lose in that food bar those points, and once they hit 0, people are leaving your town. So this is really something that you need to pay attention to. And so you need to really open your eyes, especially for the harvest times, on how fast people are going through the produce that you are in food produce that you're actually making, so you can actually try to handle that as best to your ability. So once again, food tiers. As your town is getting bigger and bigger, and as you go through your research, you see underwater fields 1 here, you produce seaweed and sea cucumbers. You see, this is the food tier 1. You see this? You find them? Cool. Let's go further. you have also cages, which I'm going to show you. It's sorry boys, it's going to be a kind of semi-long video, but it's really important that you actually see cages here, and it's tuna. So what you need to have, you see this tuna on the left, 1031 tuna quantity, that's what I have. Produced monthly is 9 because there was a harvest of tuna, and tuna is here. This is the tuna cage. And in 194 days I will have more tuna. The good thing is I have 1031 units of tuna in my storage, so I'm pretty much fine there. So as I'm saying, people, you're going through your research bar and you're going further and further and further and further and further and further, and you go, let's say, to my position right now, cages 2, that's lobsters. I actually made lobsters here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is the lobster, and in 6 days it's going to be harvest. So in 6 days I'm going to have lobsters harvest, which is a food tier 2, and in 14 days or 13 days I'm going to have oyster harvest. So that means that in food tier 2 I'm going to have a variety of 2 produce, and my food variety rank is going to be satisfactory for sure for my people that are currently in the city. So you also need to pay attention to food tiers and the variety needed inside food tiers, so you actually satisfy the needs of your populace. And as you go further and further, as I said, you build the greenhouse that makes continental potatoes and wheat. Cool. They are linked directly to fast food and pub, because pub is using wheat for alcoholic beverages and fast food is using continental potatoes for its chips, for French fries. So what you need to think about, once you develop, let's say, a greenhouse, you better be ready to build upon this fast food and pub, because suddenly people are going to ask for fast food and pub items. So suddenly again their happiness is going to slightly start to drop down, because you actually have opened research of you having some food to produce, and that food is not being produced. So suddenly people are saying, hey, we have this open, why are we not producing it? I want it, because we are at that level, population is at that level. So once again, I'm going to conclude this video right now. I don't think that I can say anything more about it besides open your eyes to food tiers, because as your town goes bigger and bigger and gets bigger and bigger, and your people demands more and more high quality foods, you need to go through those tiers of foods and actually implement them into your town as soon as possible, because if you wait for too long, this could happen. Your happiness can start to drop even lower and lower with that food bar, and it can hit 0, and once it hits 0, your people are getting out of your town and you're going to lose all your workforce, and it's a question, will you be able to actually recuperate on that loss? So yeah, this is food diversity. That's the whole point of this video, for us to actually give you some understanding. There are food tiers, or let's say how you go through as your town becomes bigger and bigger and your population demands more and more, and inside those food tiers there is variety that you also need to hit and satisfy, so people have the variety of foods. And it's just not grilled oysters and grilled oysters for life in food tier 3. People also want cakes, people also want sushi and something else, you know. So yeah, with this we will conclude another video from Aquatico DevBlog series. So yeah, thank you for watching, gamers, and enjoy your gaming.